All right, boys, it's super simple. I just wrote about it today. Any man who has a vision for his life is going to move with intention. So, what I want to do is show you today exactly how I plan my weeks, how I manage my time day to day, how I sit down on Sunday night and I'm like, this is what needs to be done this week, and then how I move day to day to make sure that that actually gets done. It's a simple process, but what really matters here is you're putting a small system in place. A system guarantees results. The structure that you put in place guarantees success. And what it also does is it just holds you accountable. It gets your vision on paper. So this is what's important to me. This is how I'm going to get it done. So this is where I start, right? Sunday night, I sit down. I start right here with what's called my priority destinations. These are things that I need to get done by the end of the week. They're not something that I can get done in a single work block. So for example, here is my work day. I'm currently recording this during this first deep work session. This is not something that I can probably complete in 1 hour or even this entire work block, right? I need a couple different work sessions to get these priority destinations done. So these are things that take about 7 days, more or less, to get done. Now it can only take 2 days, but essentially it's something that you need more than a couple hours to get done. So for example, I'm just going to give you some of mine, right? This week, one of the things I'm doing is I'm implementing a lead generation system within LinkedIn. So I would put like LinkedIn lead gen system fully implemented. So now there will be steps for that. It's not like creating a LinkedIn post, which I can do in 30 minutes. I need to set up the software. I need to make sure my messaging is right. I need to make sure the resources that I'm sharing with potential clients are the ones that I want to give them, that type of stuff. So there's steps there. Let's see. Another thing I want to do is I want to post 3 YouTubes. One is educational. One is lifestyle. One is going to be motivation. My bad. I'm brand new to this. There we go. Okay. Another thing I want to do is I want to, I want to complete and share podcast introduction. So I'm working with a podcast agency right now. They help me get on podcasts. They're also helping me with my messaging so that when I show up on a pod, I give the most value possible to my audience, and I also share a message in a way that people are going to want to work with me, because the way I can help somebody the most is by us building a one-on-one relationship, them going through my program, us going deep on their current situation and figuring out how we can improve it. So it's not just about making money, it's about having impact. So this is something I need to do, which is craft my introduction, complete that, and then share that so that I can get feedback from my team. Let's see, maybe I'll just put one other thing, which is I'm weighing 178.7 this morning. I want to weigh 177 pounds by Saturday, or we'll say by Sunday morning. So we'll put a physical goal in there, right? So these are things. I'm not going to wake up on Monday or Tuesday weighing 177 probably. These are things that take about a week. So now what I'm going to do, that's my Sunday night, right? Set those priority destinations. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to move to Monday. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set my power list. Now this is where, with both of them, you're going to have to learn how to time box. You're going to have to learn how to estimate, because if we come up here and we set these 4 priority destinations, but you can actually only get 3 of them done, well, ultimately at the end of the week, you want all of these to be completed. So when you go around to the next week, you should have a little bit more information. Not only are you figuring out how long does it take a task to be finished, but you're also figuring out, okay, these certain types of tasks take this long relatively, and I can typically get about this much done a week. So ultimately the goal here is to complete all of these by the end of the week. So you need to learn how to time box better, which we'll talk about in a second. But what I'm going to do every single day is I'm going to set what's called my power list. This is my power list for Monday, May 5th, today. What this is going to do is it's going to be things I can get done in my 24-hour window on Monday that are going to move me towards that priority destination. So let's start simply with the weigh 177 pounds by Sunday morning. Typically, I don't like to have physical health goals, things that are just part of routine that should be getting done. This is typically only work goals, but for those of you who haven't gotten to a place where you're consistent with your fitness, with your nutrition, with your morning routines and your habits, then it's probably important to have it as part of your power list. So that's why I'm using this as an example. And what I'm just going to say is I'm going to say 10K steps. And then I'm going to say, today we're going to do a chest and back workout. So those are separate items because I don't put them together because I could do the chest and back workout but not do the 10K steps. So I put both of those. And now let's look at these priority destinations. Maybe I'm going to pick one thing that I can do to move in the direction of each of these priority destinations. So what I can do for LinkedIn is I can come up with initial messaging sequence, right? That's the first step. The full system won't be implemented, but I can come up with the complete messaging sequence. And I'll just say complete messaging sequence. And then what I can do for the YouTubes is I can brainstorm. I'm going to say motivational topic plus talking points. So now when I go to record that, maybe on Tuesday, I have what I want to talk about. And then complete and share podcast introduction. So I need to first watch a video that tells me what should be included in that podcast introduction. So I'll just say watch pod intro training. Cool. Now, the goal by the end of the day, once again, is all of these things should be done. That's the goal. That's why, once again, you need to learn how to time box and to estimate well. One of the things that's going to help you do that is by scheduling your calendar with intention. So you can see this is what my calendar looks like literally every single day. From the time I wake up to the time I go to bed, I have every single thing I'm doing. It's blocked out. So in the morning I wake up, I have my morning routine, 7:30 to 8:30. I wake up, I get in the shower, I brush my teeth. By the time I'm out of the shower, cleaned up, do some skincare, it's 7:30. Then I sit down. After I hydrate, I go stand out on the balcony for a minute. I hydrate, I read the Bible, I journal, I sit in prayer and meditation. That takes about an hour. I don't like to rush it, so I give myself about an hour for the proper routine. Then I eat breakfast, 30 minutes. Then I go and walk for 30 minutes. Then I make my LinkedIn post. Takes me about 30 minutes to write that. Now I have a deep work session that I'm in right now. My deep work, if you work a corporate job, this is just going to be your on-the-clock hours. This is when you do a lot of these things that are going to move your career forward. Complete the messaging sequence, brainstorm the motivational topic and talking points, watch the pod intro and training. That's another thing I'm going to do. Also, today's Monday, right? So I'm going to do my client check-ins. So I have that as well. And that is a one-day thing. So I can still have things on my power list that aren't necessarily on my priority destinations, because complete client check-ins, that doesn't deserve to be up there, right? This is just a 1 hour thing or so. So that's why it only makes it to the power list. So this, what's on the power list, doesn't have to be condensed to only things that fall underneath your priority destinations. But anyways, what this is doing is it's giving me control over my time. I eat lunch, I go to the gym. This is for my transition period to the gym. I have a meeting here, I have a group call here, dinner, quality time with my fiance, time with God, in bed. So I know how I'm spending my time every single day, and then I'm tweaking two things literally on a day-to-day basis until you get to a place where you wake up and you go to bed on a perfect day and this flows completely. Then you should be tweaking your calendar to get to a place where it flows smoothly 100%. You're in a certain block and that's what you're doing. Also, what you should be doing is you should be tweaking your power list day to day, which is, okay, maybe I didn't complete my messaging sequence, but I got everything else done. I'm going to come back to this in a second. So now what this is doing, it's like, okay, well, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 items is too much. Or maybe, this took way longer than I expected and I just need to have a better idea on how long it takes me to brainstorm a given YouTube video. So when I roll over items to the next day, if something didn't get done and it's still top priority, that's my first and foremost obligation, which is anything that didn't get done at the end of the day. And actually, I'm going to take a step back. So the last thing I would like to do with this power list is I like to do like what's called a sub power list, where I have these items, I call them low producers. They're on the right side. So I have 2 lists, my power list and then my low producer list. This is something like if I have to doctor's appointment, schedule it, right? Things that take like 5 to 15 minutes. I'm getting married soon, so I'm planning the whole wedding, right? So follow up with cater email. So I have these as separate things that I can just take in small periods small periods of breaks, right? Small break periods. These are some things I can get done. But these aren't things that like move the needle forward in my life, so they never make the proper power list. So now I finish my day. Everything that I do finish, I check off. Everything that I don't finish, I leave open. And I reassess, okay, what are my priorities going into tomorrow? I zoom out. I look back at my priority destinations. It's like, great, well, completing this system is still a priority destination. So you know what? Completing my messaging sequence is probably still a priority for me when we move on to Tuesday. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to build that power list for Tuesday. And the first thing that's going to be on it is complete that messaging sequence. And then I'm just going to say, okay, based on my priority destinations and what still needs to get done. Sorry, I'm a little new with this technology. What else needs to be done? Okay, cool. So I want to film the motivational YouTube. And actually what I do after I film that video is I sit down, I rewatch it, and I write down the timestamp of every point where there's a good clip that I can make into a short form. So I'm just going to say timestamp YouTube for Reels. And then maybe I actually want to cut up 2 Reels for that day. So I'm going to say Reel 1, Reel 2. And realistically, I know what I can get done in a day. This is enough for me for a single day. And actually, because I'm going to say I finished my little items last night, I set up my doctor's appointment and I followed up with the caterers, then I'm good. So now this is my power list for Tuesday. And when I go to Wednesday, it's the same exact process. So Tuesday night, these are the things that you should be doing in addition to planning. Goodness gracious. These are the things that you should be doing in addition to planning your priority destinations and your power list every single day. And I'm going to put it right here once I can get this out of the way. Cool, we'll put a sticky note because it's important. right? So at the end of the day, sit down. We're going to do a 30-minute, I call it pause, which what you're going to do is you're going to reassess, reorient, and build tomorrow power list. So I'm gonna reassess. I'm gonna see what got done today, what got done on Monday. Great, I got everything done besides the messaging sequence. I'm gonna reorient for tomorrow. What are my priorities? I'm gonna take a look at my priority destinations, and then I'm going to build tomorrow's power list based on what didn't get done and my priorities. And then I constantly want to be improving my scheduling and time estimates. So really think about it when you look at what you did the previous day. What took longer than expected? What took shorter than expected? Or where in my schedule did I fall off track? Maybe what's not working is, like, for me, maybe I'm realizing I don't get back to the gym from 4:30 till 4:30 after the time I shower and stuff like that. So I need to move this work block back 30 minutes. I need to start at 4:30. Okay. I actually, in my working hours of this is 4 hours here, this is 3 hours here, 7 hours of deep work, I actually now only have 6.5 hours. So that needs to affect how I plan my power list day to day. So those are the things that you should be doing at the end of the day. Is that 30-minute pause to reassess today's progress, reorient for tomorrow, and then build tomorrow's power list. And then daily, you should be improving your scheduling and your time estimates. So every single day, what you should do is you should sit down also at the end of the day, and you should, EOD, for those of you who don't know, stands for end of day, schedule tomorrow calendar. And I'm going to say update, because ideally your calendar should look fairly the same, like your main blocks, deep work, routine, eating, that type of stuff should look the same on a day-to-day basis. What's going to change is what you do within those blocks. But in the beginning, you need to be working on updating that calendar to a point where you wake up out of bed, everything flows smoothly. So I'm going to sit down, I'm going to look at my calendar for tomorrow, and I'm going to move around any blocks that need to be moved around. For example, maybe I have a meeting that comes up. So once again, I really apologize for this freaking tool. I have a meeting that comes up at 3:30. It's important. It's with a client. I have to take it. That means I have to change my gym block. No worries. I'm going to figure out how to manipulate my gym block. Maybe this lunch I'm eating while I'm working. I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to sit down. I'm going to adjust my calendar for tomorrow based on the blueprint I already have. So this is the simple process of how you sit down on Sunday night. I plan what needs to be done at the end of the week. I plan what needs to be done by the end of the week. And then day to day, I plan what needs to be done to move me in the direction of completing those things. The last thing you want to do is, once again, when you sit back to that Sunday, you're going to look at last week's priority destinations. Which of these got done? If something didn't get done, figure out why. And then ask the same way you ask at the end of the day. Is it still a top priority? Let me reassess what got done. Let me reorient going into next week. And then let me build next week's priority destinations. If something didn't get done and it needs to, and it's still top priority, then bring it over to next week priority destinations. It's the same process. And then if you travel, if you're out of town, if it's holidays and your schedule has to change, now you have the blueprint for when it's a perfect day in the office, working from home, wherever you work, and your life changes. You just mix and match. You just move these blocks around to make that work. Now you know exactly how you need to wake up, what you need to do every single time block of the day to have the most productivity, to move yourself in the direction you want in every single area of your life. Once again, a man who has a vision, who knows where he wants to be, that's where it starts with. That's where it starts. He moves with intention every single day. What this does is this is just putting you in the driver's seat. You are the author of your own life. If you truly want to live in your potential, you have to move with intention. You get to design it, and you design it. After you design it, you take action on it. If you take action on it over a long period of time and consistently, you end up exactly where you want to be. Let's crush.